Chapter 3, Primary Mover. The mechanical energy. Primary mover, the energy for the conversion of the hydrochemical thermal energy for the mechanical energy for the output with a straight line with a rotary motion. Rotary mechanical energy for the drive. Rotary generator to produce electrical energy over the last 125 years of the internal combustion of the steam turbine gas turbine. Then have the display with the steam engine. Solely electrical generator are solely either driven with either reciprocating with the gas turbine available with a wide range of the character of the power rating. Relatively high thermal efficiency that can be easily started with a broad outlet online. In addition, their speed can be closely regulated to maintain alternate current of the system. Frequency fuels are burned directly with the internal combustion engine. Burn an air fuel mixture limited whichever the rate for the temperature maximum mixture with the increase the pressure increase the end of the reciprocating piston engine curve with the once for each power stroke with the pressure for the accelerator with the piston with the produce the word by turning the crankshaft again for the connection rod the reciprocating spark with the ignition with the engine to the engine operated with the auto cycle principle with the type of the reciprocating spark ignition engines. Events are intake of the stroke of the combustible fuel air mixture with the drum of the cylinder, the compression stroke of the temperature, pressure of the mixture, rate of the power expansion stroke, ignition of the pressurized gas result of the combustion, on the drive of the piston over the bottom of the cylinder, exhaust stroke, burn gas of the force of the cylinder, 4 strokes of the piston with the burst cycle with the required 4 stroke cycle, 4 cycle, 1 power stroke with the exhaust of the 2 revolution with the crankshaft, the output of the fan engine with the increase with the sum of the loss of the efficiency with the 2 stroke with the 2 cycle with the auto process with the during the compression with the fuel air mixture of the drum with the cylinder during the power stroke. The mixture in the cylinder is compressed with the new with the end of the power with the stroke of the burn gas is allowed with the exhaust end of the mesh rod with the new mixture is forced into the cylinder pit prior to the start of the next compression stroke. For the auto cycle with the fuel air mixture with the compressed with the ignite with the times right with the exact with the ratio of fuel air to achieve with the carburization volatile fuel with the fuel injection U with the auto cycle with the achieve with the more pressure for the fuel delivered to each with the cylinder 4 cycle with the spark ignition gasoline engine used to drive, used for a primary move with the small power generator drivers of the advantages are low initial cost, lightweight with a given output, simple to maintain with the easy cranking, quick starting, provide fuels for fresh, low noise level. The disadvantage of the 4 cycle spark ignition gasoline engines are great attendant safety hazards due to the volatile fuel, grade specifically fuel in consumption for the compression ignition engine, reciprocating compression ignition engine for the operating on the diesel cycle with the principal type of the compression and ignition engine of the vent with the intake with the air is drawn into the cylinder compression stroke. Air is compressed with the pressure for the raise for the temperature for the air with the above the ignition temperature for the fuel with the injected power stroke with the metered amount with the fuel with the greater with the cylinder pressure is injected with the cylinder with the control rate with the fuel is automatic with the combustion curve with the further increase with the pressure for the driving the piston with the turn with the crankshaft the exhaust stroke burn gas is forced into the cylinder with the as for the spark ignition 4 cycle engine with the 4 cycle compression ignition engine occur during the 2 revolution crankshaft with the 1 power stroke with the curve with the 2 revolution compression engine or the diesel engine may also be with the 2 cycle of the operation increase the output with the lower engine efficiency. Diesel cycle only with the compressed ignition with the fuel with the high temperature with the air with the compression ignition must be stoutly constructed and spark ignition because of the high pressure for the compression ignition required with the high pressure fuel injection. Our gas turbine engine fuel air burn for the combustion of the 3-1 show for the typical gasoline powered emergency generator set with the air cool. B. Gas turbine engine for the fuel air with the burn with the combustion chamber with the gas turbine aim for the result of the high pressure gas with the direction through the nozzle door with the turbine blade with the producer of the work with the turbine turning the turbine shaft with the continue with the process of the continuous combustion with the constant of the pressure with the gas turbine operate with the bridle cycle principle the number of the configuration of U with the aircraft propulsion with the turbo fan with the turbo prop usually on the primary with the auxiliary chamber with the continue with the combustion temperature turbine with the process of the compressed with the axial flow with the compressor with the portion compressed air with the mix with the fuel ignite with the combustion chamber with the balance with the compressed air pass with the round stream with the absorb with the heat and then merge with the burn product with the combustion with the pressurized mixture usually 1,000 degrees or higher flows into the reaction turbine drive with the compressor also with the drive with the generator with the portion with the exhaust gas with the recirculated into the possible recover the heat energy with the waste exhaust with the compressor with the relatively large portion of the thermal energy produced with the combustion engine efficiency highly dependent with the efficiency of the compressor over the turbine the advantage of the U of the gas turbine and proven independently with sustaining the operation from the rated low use variety of liquid and gas fuel with a low vibration level and high frequency for the rated low. The disadvantage for the gasoline gas turbine are initial gas cost for the high fuel air filtering required to avoid erosion of the nozzle and blade for fine tolerance and speed reduced between the turbine generator required must be kept in alignment. D special maintenance with the training of the tool procedure for the required E conserve the energy with the spin and the start high frequency with the noise level of the exhaust value and the considerable and large portion of the fuel heat energy with the compressor. I long bed plate is required. J with the maximum load is sharply related. H. Efficiency lower than reciprocating engine. Rotary spark ignition engines. These engines are typical with the Wankel type of the engine operating with the auto principle, each with a four-cycle, the curve with a specific travel the annual special space around the axis for the shaft, piston travel the annular chamber with the rotate with the shaft of the power stroke with the curve of the every shaft of the revolution. Depending on the design of the engine can be produced with a large amount of the power with a given side with a high with the RPM, low efficiency friction with the ceiling of the problem with the unfavorable reliability with the engine, making the unsatisfactory primary move of the auxiliary generator with the faults may be correct with the development and it continues. 3.2 diesel engine. Diesel engine stationary generator unit size for 7.5 kilowatts, approximately 1,500 kilowatts for the design engine portable generating units. Size is 7.5 kilowatts, approximately 750 kilowatts. When figure the 3.2 through 3.4 efficient weight with a per horsepower engine cost relation for the constant over the wide range speed with a smaller engine for the opposite with a high speed range of 1,200 to 1,800 RPMs. You for the portable unit because of the lighter weight with a lower cost, the low or medium speed, 200 to 900 RPMs are preferred stationary units for the greater the weight, but it is not disadvantage the lower maintenance of the cost and the longer life with a higher initial cost. Advantages of the diesel engine include proven dependability, sustained operation rate of load efficiency, and adaptability, wide range of liquid fuel with controlled fuel injection. Disadvantages include the high initial cost with a high weight per given output, high noise level, the specialized maintenance of the fuel injection system, mechanical intolerance required, precise adjustment, difficult craning, cold starting, requiring auxiliary ignition aids, and 8 vibration. Figure 3 shows the typical small stationary diesel generator unit air cooled. And then this shows a typical large stationary diesel engine unit. 3.3 type of the diesel engine, various configurations, single to multiple diesel engine, 2-cycle to 4-cycle, or U with the derived auxiliary generator with the multi-cylinder engine for either the type of the V inline configurations. And then it shows a picture of the typical diesel power on a transformable frame base. For the V configuration, favor there is the lack of the rate for the V engine for the shore, for the more capable of the inline engine for the most engine with the liquid cool. The air cooling is sometimes the U with a single cylinder, other small engine driven in general with up to 10 kilowatt. But air cooled, the engine usually reach the operating temperature for the quick with a relatively noisy during the operation. 2-cycle this year with the ends with the take play with the 2-cycle diesel engine compression with the combustion expansion, exhausting, scavenging, and air intake with the 2 strokes of the piston during the 1 revolution crankshaft with the complete cycle. Your compression system, the compression, the cycle to begin with the piston with the bottom dead center with the position and with the exhaust valve that is operating with the permitted burn gases. Escape the cylinder scavenging air point with the uncovered permitting the new air with the seat into the cylinder with the new air in the cylinder and the piston moves upward. Piston covers the exhaust port. The exhaust valve closed with the scavenger air port is closed with the piston. Now compressed with the air and heat with the temperature required with the ignition of the piston near the top dead center. As the piston nears top dead center with the metered amount of the fuel injected with a certain rate with the injection of atmosphere added minus of the fuel will ignite with a high temperature for the combustion. Start with the combustion cause with the temperature and pressure to rise further. The power of the piston reaching with the pass with the top dead center with the pressure with the hot gas forward with the acceleration with the piston downward. Turn to the crank with the shaft against the load connecting to the shaft with the failure air mixture continuing to burn the piston with the passes 80% to 85% of the stroke travel between bottom dead center and uncover the exhaust port with the exhaust valve open. This allows the exhaust gas to escape with the cylinder with the piston continue with downward and uncover the scavenging air point, allowing the scavenging air refreshing. Fresh air with a 3 pound square per inch with up to 6 psi sweep cylinder with a further purging air exhaust gas provided with the fresh air charge cap with the next for the cycle with the piston reach with the path with the bottom dead center with the compression stroke with the beginning with the end again. 4-cycle with a shear with the bend with the taking plate with a 4-cycle engine inlet with a stroke with the compression with the expanding with the power stroke with the exhaust with the stroke with the 4-stroke with the 2 revelation crankshaft are necessary to complete the cycle inlet with the stroke with the parts shaft with the down with the top dead center with the inlet with the valve with opens allow with the piston suck or charge of fresh air empty with the cylinder with the air with the supply with the pressure with the higher with the atmospheric air with the supercharge with the compression stroke piston near with the bottom dead center with the air inlet with the valve closed with the ceiling with the cylinder energy supply with the crankshaft with the flywheel with the power with the other cylinders the force of the piston upward towards the top dead center with the rapidly with the compressing with the air with the increase with the temperature with the pressure within the cylinder power stroke a piston approach with the top dead with the amount with the fuel with the modulator with the governor inject with the spray with the atomite within the cylinder with the injection and then with a high temperature for the combustion start with the combustion with the controlled rate with the further increase with the temperature pressure for the accelerate with the piston bottom dead center expanding with the high gas with the force piston down toward with the crank again with the low with the engine efficiency depends on the fuel charge with completely burned during the power stroke exhaust stroke as the piston passes with the bottom dead center with the end with the power stroke with the exhaust valve opens piston U with the short engine with the flywheel from the power stroke with another cylinder, the force of the burn gas through the cylinder with the exhaust port, piston approach with the top dead center with the exhaust valve to go over the air intake valve opens with and begin another cycle. The engine timing. Engine time of the critical intake with the exhaust valve to have the open and close with the valve with the greatest amount of the work to be extracted from the combustion with the must openly long enough to have the valve with the fresh air that the flow into the exhaust valve gas with the flow with the out of the cylinder with the fuel is made to inject with the proper rates during the certain periods of time to get smooth with the pressure rise and complete combustion time for the two-stroke cycle with the four-stroke cycle. The engines differ. Refer to the timing diagram figure 3.5 of the diagram A with the two form of the two-stroke cycle with the in portion cover the typical crankshaft case scavenging type of the uncontrolled fixture with the outer portion of the port control unit flow system. Diagram B illustrates timing for the four-stroke cycling. Alright, type A with the inlet close to the exhaust serve supercharging scavenging period with the exhaust blowdown in the operation exhaust opening within. They show the timing diagram for the fuel injector valve open fuel injection inlet valve with inlet valve closes compression overlap with the exhaust valve with the air start valve closes intake power exhaust valve closes the air starting valve opens. Advantages. The advantage of the diesel power generates you with the ability to utilize the specific liquid gaseous fuel with a high voltage with a refined one on one's gasoline, benzene, etc. with the meet the load with the varying amount of the fuel injected with utilize with a relatively slow design speed to operate with the other external furnace of the burners of the gas generator. Disadvantages of the most innovative engines include with the reduce the cranking power with the U with the compression relief during the starting with the power auxiliary starting engine for the starting the motor and battery bank, high pressure closed and tolerance for the fuel injection system capable of the being finally adjusted with the modulated for the speed load and weight of the noise. 3.4 diesel fuel system. A typical diesel fuel system is shown figure 3.6 with the information related with the cooling, lubricating, starting system that is shown with the functional requirement of the diesel engine fuel system include with the fuel injection time of the fuel pressurization. Fuel injection system measure with the meter supply with each of the cylinder with the engine inlet metering with the outlet metering with the inlet metering. Fuel is measured with the injector pump with the injector with the outlet metering. Fuel is measured as leave the pumping element with the instantaneous rate of the during of the injection must deliver the fuel with the time of the current and correct propagation of the flame front with over the result of the pressure rise with the timing. Fuel injection timing is critical with the duration. Fuel injection amount with the fuel injected with the varying during the starting of the partial fuel and overload conditions as well with the speed with the best for the engine start with the curve with the fuel with injection adjust before top dead center with the piston travel before the air and with the combustion chamber with the high with the instant with the during with the engine operation with the timing too is made need to advance for the compensate with the ignition lag with many of the modern injection systems have the automatic injection time and the device change with it to match with the change with the engine speed. Fuel pressurization. Fuel must be pressurized to operate with the injector nozzle because of the nozzle or the injector tip contains the spring-loaded check valve with the injector and pressure for the must be greater with the compression pressure within the compression chamber. Assemble the cylinder between 1,500 to 4,000 psi pressure is required for the injection of the proper fuel atomization. Special information provided. Engine manufacturer literature for the fuel system components listed in paragraph 3.4. Fuel contamination. Fuel injection equipment manufactured with the precision accuracy must be very carefully handled with a small amount of abrasive material can seriously damage moving the power with the contaminated fuel with a major vehicle with the dirt and the water entering the system. Fuels must be filtered before starting fuel. With the diesel engine, with the auxiliary chamber usually distillate fuels quickly started with the fuel with the light oils are similar with the kerosene. Various advantages for the frequently used with the fuel such as sedating and improve the delay ignition with a smoother engine operation course and enable with the dispersants. Appendix C contains the related fuel and fuel storages. Alright, F. Injections of the diesel engine manufactured usually only the following type of the mechanical fuel injected with the unit with injection. Common rail injected with the line pump with the injection now with the line numbers with the diesel engine. Currently in employed with the common rail injections with the electronic fuel injection had to develop the U with the modern diesel engine referred to paragraph 3.4b4 with the injection of the common rail inject with the inline pump with the injector nozzle is described in paragraph table 3.1 and 3.3 with the injection fuel system immediately starting quickly delay with the beginning of the injection chamber. The injection timing caused hard starting the rough operation of the engine. The delay with the engine and ending the injection is indicated by heavy smoke with the exhaust with the loaded uneven exhaust sound at the end of the injection full shut off. It should be total with no dribble with a secondary injection. Such injection system the delivery retraction valve of the fuel shut off with the other system camshaft have the cam load with the design and sharp drop to ensure the rapid fuel shut off. Part 1, common rail, inject for the common rail, inject for the system, older shift in the fuel with the supply with the common rail with the or manifold with the high pressure for the pump, 90 for the constant pressure for the rail with the form of the individual fuel lines, connect with an injection for the spray nozzle with each for the cylinder with the fuel is drawn from the spray tank with the low pressure for the pump and then pass through the filter suction side with the high pressure pump with the high pressure pump with the raise for the fuel engine with the manufacturer specification operating pressure, constant pressure of the maintainment of the system, the high pressure pump with the relief of the valve with the pressure for the greater than the relieving valve setting. Valve opens, permit some of the fuel to flow back with the bypass into the tank. Check valve with the injection nozzle prevented the return with the fuel oil injection system by the cylinder compression pressure. Unit injection of the system consists of the integral fuel injection pump with the injection unit with the complete with the unit required with each for the cylinder fuel oil, and then it shows a picture of your picture of the oil lube system, and then it goes on to each other the fuel tank supply tank with the field. Just check this. Supplied with the cylinder individual operated with the cam located with the camshaft with the auxiliary drive with the pump that operated with it independently. Each of the fuel supply tank pass with the filter with the injector pump with the pipe with the injector pump with the receiver with the injector cylinder with the proper quantity with the prearranged time. Electronic fuel injected with the electronic fuel injection in the van with the design modern diesel engine with the intent with the produce with the improve with the start with the operating character with the some of the several systems have developed many smaller with the intermediate side of the engine with the similarity with the mechanical injury system and include with the following with the fuel pump with the pumps with the governor of speed regulation, fill for the fuel inject with the major difference between the mechanical electrical system is the computer with the replay with the mechanical component with the cam, the push rod, you with the control fuel inject with the computer prod for the dad for the input starts with the engine speed with the low with the desired speed with the governor setting with the engine temperature, generator low with the computer output with the precise with the time, electrical with the significant signal with the pulse with the opening close with the fuel inject with the optimum the engine performance, adjust for the injection time, the cell of them required with the after the initial step with the refer the engine manufacturer literature with the maintenance injector pump and the other fuel system component with the main components of the fuel system, fuel supply with the transfer pump with the data tank with the fuel injection pump with the fuel injection nozzle and filters and strain with the component with the match for the engine manufacturer optimum performance warranty protection, fuel supply store for the one or more storage tank with each for the tank with the drain valve with the removal of the bottom of the water. See paragraph 2 for the generated general requirements of the approximately fuel system that shall include with the data tank with the transfer pump. See with the paragraph 2.4d. The following paragraphs over the fuel with the injection pump with the fuel injection the nozzle and filter strain of the fuel injection pump with accomplish with the function described in 3.4b. 3. With addition of the detail provided with the following paragraph with the fuel injection pump with the must perform the two function first. Deliver charge of fuel with the engine, some with the proper time with the engine with the operating of the cycle, usually with the piston, almost with the reach for the engine with the compression stroke with the second. Measure oil charge of delivery of the injector, some of the amount of the fuel sufficient to develop the power with the needed to overcome the resistance of the crankshaft. And then you have table 3.1 the unit injector system, 3.2 common rail injector system components and purpose. Table 3.3 inline pump with the injector nozzle component and purpose. And then the fuel injection pump with the tip of the barrel with the reciprocating pump with the reciprocating pump with the charge take for the charge of the fill of the barrel to deliver the fuel injection delivery device to the engine. Some of the fuel injection now with the mechanical engine for the system, usually spring load with the needle valve, top of the nozzle with the adjust with the open with the determine the pressure for the solve with the manufacturer specification before adjusting fuel injections valves. The nozzle components of the assembled carefully with the factory must never be intermixed with the most manufacturer individual pump with each of the cylinder with the pump injection system. Provide each of the cylinder spring loaded spray with the valve with the spring keep the needle from lifting until the pump is delivered with the oil pressure greater than the spring load. Assume with the pressure for the lift with the knee with the oil start with the spring with the engine with the cylinder through the opening of the valve by with the diesel. Fuel supply, try to provide with clean fuel, however the contaminated water handling inventory excessive frequently and even with the best grade of the form materials into the fuel system will cloud with the nozzle and cover the excessive wear with the fuel pump injection system. Sulfur, frequently found with the oil with the vary with the undesirable sulfur the burn with the during with the combustion, sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide form with the both the substance will combine with the water condensate from to form sulfuric acid. The maximum amount of sulfur acceptable in fuel oil must not exceed 1% of the engine. Manufacturer recommendations for the use of the accept the sulfur in fuel oil requirement the most restricted the restraint of the filters capable of removing the fine particle of the plate for the fuel line between the supply tank of the engine, between the engine transfer pump and the injection pump, sometimes with the bowl plate with the basic rule of the placement of the strain of the filters and strainer before the pump filters and after the filter shell be placed within storage of the tank fill line with the prevent the accumulation of foreign material within the storage tank. Strainers protect with the transfer pump, the strain with the shell also be placed with the head with the flow, each fuel flow meter. Always locate the filter with the strain with the easily with acceptable cleaning of the replacement. The duplex filter shall be provided with the engine for the running of the continuous so that filter elements can be cleaned while engine is running, though interpreting the fuel supply with a provided space under the edge of the disc filter with the receptacle receptacle with the receiver of the material to drain with the bottom over the filter is clean with the filter stream with the has element that can be renewed or cleaned. Space must be allowed with the permit. It's easy to remove with the follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Frequency for cleaning, replacing the filter elements to adjust the frequency to meet the local operating conditions. Generally, the metal edge of the wire with mesh for the devices are called strainers. All replacement absorbed within the cartridge of the device are called filters. Fuel filters are properly military. You can consider the replaceable elements mounted with the suitable housing, the simplex for the duplex for the type of the fuel filters, available the fuel filters. So, strainers filters must be contained with the pressure for the relief of the bypass valve with the such valve with the pressure provide a means for the fuel to bypass the stream of the filters, thereby permitting the fuel injection. Equipment damage for the contaminated fuel with the fuel capacity for the generally described with the term of the pressure drop between the input, output side of the filter. However, the fuel oil of the filters must be large enough to take in the full flow of the fuel oil with the pressure drop to cut off the filter. Next, see the engine manufacturer's specification. Fuel filters element should be chained with whenever the pressure drop across the filters near the breach with the specified value. Refer to manufacturer instructions for the information for the replacement of the filter elements, filter capacity of the given pressure drop, the influence of the viscosity of the fuel. The filter shall have the ample capacity to handle the fuel with the demand of the engine fuel load larger than the filter, the less frequently it will have been cleaned, the better the filtering performance will be. Are your diesel cooling? So for the diesel engine, for the design, either the air-cooled, liquid-cooled with the cooling engine prevent the cylinder wall with the head of the exhaust manifold with the lube oil with the overheating. Air-cooled, it depends on the engine, with the drive and the fan with low ambient over the fluid, fine surface with the cylinder head through the radiator type of the oil cooler over the exhaust manifold with the exterior surface must be kept free with the dirt of the corrosion. Oil must be kept with the sludge with the secure the adequate cooling. The air cooling is sublimated with the non-engine over the 5 horsepower with the multi-cylinder engines. Liquid-cooled engine with the tree with the coolant to force type circular with the message for the round with the cylinder head with the exhaust manifold, lube oil with the heat exchanger, hot coolant is passed with the tubes of the air-cooled radiator through the tubes of the evaporated with the heat exchanger through the shell of the tube with the exchanger. Typical liquid system is shown for 37. The two basic examples of liquid cooling system are attached. All components are mounted with the F, the engine with the U with the small and with the portable engine and generator set with the usually consists of the engine driven the pump, the circulator with the treated coolant. And then it shows here a picture of the 37 the diesel engine liquid cooling system. Closed circuit through the radiator of the engine driven the fan with a water-cooled heat exchanger. Remote primary cooling with the close of the circuit with the pipe of the heat exchanger with the knot with the mount with the engine. Pump control with the also must be remotely with the large engine with the end with the side with the complexity with the high heat dissipation system is significant. Use physical separated with the liquid process with the electrical generator with the control system. System description operation successful operation of the engine depends on the removal of the excess heat from lubricating after cool with the engine component with the cylinder piston with the valve to keep the engine temperature within limited specified with the manufacturer. The kilowatt rating associated with the electrical generator may require the D rating with the temperature operating with the engine exceed with the manufacturer limited with the table 3-4 with the describe the various elements of the cooling system. 1. Overheating with the engine reduce the effectiveness of each of the lubricating accelerated the engine the wear with the cover of the engine breakdown cooling the preventive the excessive the stress between the engine parts of the cause unequal temperature with the engine and also cooling prevents loss of the cause by the overheating of the engine structural metal. The engine is component with the design with withstand the mechanical thermal stress of the result of the operating concern with the parameter of the design also is the effect of the temperature with the strain of the resistance of the fatigue with the wear with the stress of the due to the expansion of the contraction allowed with the wear with the corrosion etc. Each compartment has been subject with the heat with the design to operate with a stated temperature limit of the unsatisfactory operation decrease life damage of the failure result of the engine operating with the outside of the limit that became to a low so the necessary property clearance of the between the parts with the we come with the 2 grade with the 2 level combustion fuel will not will not be proper fuel air exhaust and coolant passages may be defiled with the melts of the chemically attack the misaligned exhaust vibrations may result. Hot spots and cold spots generally overheating with the general overcooling with the cause of the problem. Approximately 1/3 of the energy consumed with the engine is removed with the cooling system. An engine auxiliary generator surface will be improving the capability of reliability when operating with the limits specified by the manufacturer. Particular engine will record the stated rate of the coolant flow with the current certain inlet and outlet temperatures under various rates of the fuel engine. And show the table 3-4 type of the cooling system components. Consumption mechanical energy output with the coolant with it does not contain with any solid solids with it could settle with the MP with the heat train with the coolant with the flow with the coolant shall be free of in train with the dissolved air with the other gas with which cause with the corrosion with the degree with the heat train with the coolant with it should not contain dissolved salt with it could precipitate with the form of the insulation of the scale coating of the Also, the group of the heat transfer, they have the good heat capacity with the antifreeze and the anti-corrosion compound with the cleaning agent to keep the coolant passive with a good condition. The coolant shall neither corrode nor attack with any of the metal with no organic material with the cooling system. They should not be. Have the rare cave of the engine may be cooled usually with the clean water once through. The shift of the cooling water is pumped with the cooling passive with the hot water leaving the engine. The discover the head of the many disadvantages will not be further discussed. The smaller engines may have a single coolant circuit loop through the coolant, leaving the engine path with the return of the engine. With the large engines may require you with additional loop with the engine coolant is primary loop with the cool with the medium circulate with the secondary loop. With the secondary coolant may be cooled with another method of the tertiary loop. No cooling medium mixes another medium in a non-contact system. Example of the three-loop system in the tree with the engine coolant with the primary loop passing through the heat exchange with the cool with the fresh water with the secondary loop with the hot fresh water. Maybe you with the building and the heat with the maybe the path through the another heat with the exchange with the cool with the brackish salt water and tertiary circuit once through the base. For the purpose of the arrangement to keep the seawater at low temperatures so that the salt do not form scales. Leakage of seawater, the fresh water circle to prevent it, having the fresh water with the high pressure for the seawater, the fresh water circle the map with the high temperature for the recover the significant unusable heat, otherwise wasted for the contamination engine coolant to prevent with the beginning with the high pressure for the fresh water, and if the engine coolant with the cause very little with the coolant low with the coolant circle, and with the seal with the high heat capacity, the temperature may be elevated by using seal pressure coolant lubricant. The coolant must be periodically tested to make sure that the corrected amounts of the active additives are present at the engine. The coolant cool the lubricating oil with the low temperature air with the finally with the higher sections. In the crankcase, the oil case, oil cool with the crankshaft with the assembly with the spade and spade, splash oil cool with the underside of the piston, and the oil circulate with the camshaft with the rocker arm with the valve with the guides will pick up with the heat, drains into the sump with an oil pump, force of the heat, oil, lube, and the oil filter through the oil cooler to pressure oil points. That oil must not become so high that it loses lubricating properties with the breakdown. Coolant leaving the other oil cooler fillers, cylinder wall, jacket inlet with the valve, with the injector, exhaust port valve, with the intercooler, supercharger with the turbo blower with the exhaust manifold, and just finally a heat exchanger with the reciprocating of out of the engine. Or non-contacting heat engine, heat exchange with the U with the dab with the remove with the one with the medium and another intermixing the radiator and the fan cooler. U with the airflow with the remove with the dissipate with the heat exchange with the medium flows through the tube with the secondary medium flow with the round with the tube with the generally with the medium have the higher tendency to foul the exchanger surface with the inside of the tube with the allow with the easier cleaning. Tubes may form with a part of the shield system. The tube bundle may be open with the tank with the end shovel. The shell enclosing the second with the medium with another part, another seal system, cooling power system. Evaporate coolers remove both dissipated weight for the atmosphere with maybe with the ambient air with a sufficient coolant with the draw low relatively humidity with the absorb the water vapor with the water spray with the divide within many with a small stream with the will evaporate with the passing of the air. The heat required to evaporate the water approximately 1,050 BTU to pound the extract from the unevaporated water. Additionally, the air was with the no moist water warmed by the water. If the water is originally warmer than the air, let's remove the more heat with the water with the cooling with the towel with the fluid with the cool with the extract with the air approximately 80% of the heat. Remove the tube of the evaporation heat over the water, leaving it with the towel with the cooler usually at 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Higher than entering in the air, the towers made with the atmospheric draft with the fan with the move of the air with the makeup of the water that is required to replace the loss of the evaporation and train spray. Water treatment to blow down the necessary because of the salt of the concentrate with the evaporation depth, etc. that will contaminate with exposed water and evaporate. Cooler with the coolant passes through the tube bundle with the lives the inside of the cooling tower spray with the air moving the cooling tube that does not mix with the coolant. 7. The flow rates for the fluid and fan speed for the flow bypass, etc. for the control of the maintain proper condition, properly monitored real-time and automatic control system preferred over the manually operated system, especially where some parts of the engine auxiliary are remote and not in direct observation with the operating personnel with the automatic data, but the logging is on real value, determine the trends with the troubleshooting. 8. It is necessary to control the temperature of the various one with the engine throughout with the cooling shift, and this may be done by bypassing some of the portion with the cooling stream with the change with the flow rate, overcharging the can cover the problems with the warm engine with the energy start with the quickly brought with the speed with the low with the oil provided better with the initial oil uncirculating with lubricating with the vital with the cold with the heavy fuel oil with maybe the temperature with the relay with the viscosity required with the fuel system injectors, carburetor, inlet, manifold, spark ignition. Engine must be warm enough to prevent icing, vaporize with the fuel air mixture with the gas temperature must be kept away with a dew point with a prevent condensation and corrosion. An engine to running with a cold will not retrieve the rated indicated efficiency with the freezing of the coolant can cover the break of the interfering with the required with the flow with the circulation. 10. Chemical control of various cooling circuitry. Important with the train with the filters, remove the suspended top of the additive to prevent corrosion, mineral scale buildup of the organic growth of the organic, following with the periodic sampling analysis indicating actual concentration of desired material that is dissolved in the coolants and compression with the test result of the removed and guns with the oil during the treatment program. Some of the untreated fresh water, brackish seawater, promote growth of the barnacles, etc. Prevent power with the flow pressure with the visual inspection recommended with increase the pressure drop, indicating the foul physical and chemical cleaning may be periodically required. Safety precautions must be followed when using most cleaning compounds. Are the bearings lubricant 3/6 lubricating system? The bearings move with the parts with all of the diesel engine are lubricated with full pressure system. See figure 3/6 for the lubricating requirement. The specification cover the bearings. C system elements. Smaller engines usually self-contained. Smaller engine systems have the many with the system elements. Usually the large engines as follows. Lube oil having the proper properties for a specific engine design. Lube oil tank and some of the whole volume of oil required. Oil feeds pumps driven into the engine and circulating clean pressurized oil. 75 to 75 psi oil feeding pipe valves, control of the delivery oil with the various lube warranty for the engine internal oil passage in the crankshaft position assembly in the block of the head, hot oil sump with the collect with the oil drainage from all the lubricated engine components, hot oil sump with the pump with the return oil pump filter pump with the force the hot used within the filtering and or purifier cooler, oil filter remove the suspended solid and dirt sample the value of the taken sample of the oil filter solid with the periodically testing and analysis. 10. Transfer system adding new oil with the remove of the oil engine lubricant system. Our lube oil must have the certain property. The specific application must flow with the property with a minimum temp for the pour point with the property with the viscosity of the resistance, the shear of the between the move with the property with retain the desired viscosity over the range of the temperature of the engine. The viscosity index with the oil must resist oxidation stability. The forms gum with the sludge with associated with the catalytic effect of the engine metal with the presence with especially copper or lithium and the detergent additives must allow the sludge or the particle to disperse and not clump with the deposit throughout the engine. It contains the inhibitor to prevent oxidation, disperse agent, detergent to keep surface is clean. Physical specification for the crankcase fluid oil with non-positive indication suitability experience with the engine manufacturer's guidance for the recommended oil that the user must choose. Periodic sampling analysis for the evaluation result of it is important. The out of spec with the problem will be evident necessary to look at the trend with the warm the condition. It may become the major problem with the normal rise with the wear of metals and indicate with the abnormal increase with the sulfur content of the acidity, indicate the lube oil with the being with the contaminated high sulfur fuel oil, blowback, etc. The lube tank of the must be sufficiently large enough for the oil required with the engine, but the must be kept clean with the clove with the prevent with the contamination with the oil, the vent with the flame arrestor should exist. The tank of the reservoir feed the oil pump with the pump section line with the shoulder above the possible sludge water at the bottom of the tank of all the components of the lube system show with the material with the oil with non-contaminated the oil lube oil pump circulate with the oil with the pressure with the 5 to 75 psi with the depending on the engine design system pressure less for the cold with the oil with the feed line with the engine line of the engine lube oil header with the auxiliary electrical to drive the pump with the use primary start with the engine cold engine provide warm and oil at all points, especially with a heavy load main crank and where it spins bearings to make sure the lubricating film is formed with the first moment. Auxiliary pump maybe they also serve the automatic standby with the normal the engine driven the pump system valves control valves are provided for changeover the auxiliary, but the pump is generally long enough for the return of the oil from the critical point with the check with the pressure with the temperature for the flow, sending with the indicator with the control with the engine gauge, enable the engine crank with the pump with the usually gear type with the pressure regulation with the engine driving the pump speed with the directed relay with the engine speed. The oil flows increase with the speed, increase with the type of the operation. Large diesel engine with lubricating system different with a smaller diesel engine because of the large engine required with a large quantity with the oil. A separate sub tank with the install with the receive the oil from the crankcase with the lubricating oil pump draw with the oil from the sub tank through the stream of the oil. The discharge arm with the pressure with the into the oil cool. The oil that goes into the head with located over the header located with the engine with the branch with the leading with the various part with the system load extended with the header to each with the main bearing with the exit oil with the supply with the main bearing with the pass through the drill passage with the crank web and the oil passes through the hole with the crank bearing journal with the connection of the rod bearing with the up through the drill hole with the connect with the rod with the wrist pin and oil and some of the engine path with the small spray nozzle with the splash lubricating with the against the underside with the piston with the cooling the oil drains down engine crankcase with the return with the pump through the other branch with the header maybe the supply of oil with the gear train with the camshaft with the bearing with the rocker arm with the push rod with the cylinder wall with the turbocharger with the blowers and some of the engine for the oil cooling system from the piston of the engine may vary with many of the details but have the principle of the same in all. Lubricating system, small engine, usually self-contained crankcase separated with the oil pan underneath the engine containing the oil used in the system. Figure 3A cross section of the diesel engine showing the lube oil flow. Process. The diesel engine lubricating system must circulate with the filter cool large quantity with the lubricating oil. Figure 3.9 show the schematic of the arrangement of the main major component of the diesel lubricating system. This arrow show the arrow show the flow of the lubricating lube oil through the system. Alright, your oil storage. High-speed engines, most of the medium and low-speed engine for the crankcase for the base, for the integral crankcase for the strong lubricating oil, the engine for the operating with the so-called dry crankcase to avoid crankcase oil fog that may cause excessive cylinder lubrication, such that the engine may have the outside with the sump of the tank with the place in the oil for the crankcase that will drain into. One of the disadvantages elevated with the current closed with the pressure tank, the tube with which the oil is pumped from the crankcase to open. And this shows your typical cross-section diesel engine showing chamber with lubricating collection. Elevated tanks do set up sets of pumps are used to some capacities, various horsepower. Alright, your lube oil pump is the most engine with the driven. The rotary pump supplied with the pressure needed to circulate with the oil through the engine. Lubricating system oil pressure varies from 50 to 5 to 60 pounds, depending on the diesel engine type. The pressure depends on the amount of the clearing of the bearing, of the capacity of the pump, the type of the pump. Some of the lubricating oil pump is usually built and driven by the engine with the high speed of the engine. Oil pump usually placed in the crank sump with the driven with the camshaft over the vertical shaft of the large engine with the pump that can be drained driven by the crankshaft of the mounted end of the engine, either inside or the outside of the crankcase with driven with the crankcast shaft. Engine for the pump is bound with the engine for the driven with a crank camshaft with the large diesel engine. Frequently have the auxiliary motor driven the pump with the recirculates the oil bearing before the engine is started. As soon as the engine starts is up to speed, with the pump shuts down, the auxiliary pump will also serve the emergency lubricating oil pump. In case engine driven pump failed, with the finally with the auxiliary pump will circulate with the oil and from the time after the engine shut down with the cooling barrier journals. Piston with the method used to check valve within the discharge line with the auxiliary pump is necessary to prevent oil from flowing back into the engine. And this shows another bigger 3.9 diesel engine lubricating system. Comes up to speed with the auxiliary pump to shut down when the check valve also prevents loss of oil and oil leakage heating. Your circulator lubricating oil absorb the heat from the engine friction heat with absorbed from the bearing of the oil film with the cylinder wall with absorbed the combustion space before the oil film is drained within the crankcase. That must be dissipated by the cooler with the temperature kept below 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperature of the oil oxide sludge form. An oil cooler is necessary with the heat dissipated from the oil by the conduction through the wall of the sump and by contacting water coolers in the engine. It is insufficient to keep the temperature below the manufacturer recommendation. The cooler is particularly with the necessary for the engine to have oil-cooled piston coolers. Oil coolers should be placed in oil circuit after lubricating oil filter then handles the oil to the lower viscosity of the receive of the cold oil filter performance of the bearer with the pressure drop and less than the arrangement of the cooler usually mounted on the side of the engine with the floor alongside the engine bay. The cooling water passes through the cooler before entering the engine jacket. The exemptions such as the placing oil cooling coils in the water jacket with the one end of the engine as are permissible. Also, the coils must be placed with inside jacket with some of the design of the cool tubes and cooling water head, and while others water entering with the cooler is passed around the jacket system. Alright, oil filters. Proper installation, maintenance of the oil filter, mechanical operation, engine are equally important. Treatment over the oil, preventing contamination, removal of the contaminations should be coordinated because of the higher detergent oil used with the engine purification system should not remove the additive of the cellular filter cartridge, not remove the additive, but Fuller's earth filters does enlarge engine installation. Central fuse with maybe used with large with filter purified with large continuous oil purifiers maybe used with central fuse. Central fuse does not remove acids before acidic compounds have the approximate same specific gravity as oil. Batching setting effectively remote the organic acid from the oil, improving the neutralization number. The purifiers are used, and they should be used in addition to not in place of lube oil filters. Alright, the reset the starting system, and after that it goes on to the governor speed control. So we're just going to read the starting system real quick. Starting system with the diesel engine. Describe the manual must perform the following with the automatic start with the primary electrical power fail with the compressed the air with the combustion chamber with the delivery with the fuel and combustion. To do this, starting system must rotate and crank the engine speed with the position to rate with the cylinder with the air chart with the fuel igniting temperature. See figure 36. Two types of starting system are available to require the automatic start capability with electric start and the air starting. Electric start of the small diesel engine, electrical start of the type system is generally similar with the start of the automotive gasoline. Smaller diesel engine, even about 12-volt battery start. System of cranking starting in the battery system 24 to 38 to 24, 32, and 48 volts are often needed with a larger engine. The typical system consists of the storage battery. Require the voltage output to connect with the series of the battery charging system. This ground connecting cable C figure 310. Air starting system. Some of the larger energy of the air system with compressed air with a pressure of 200 to 350 psi delivered in the working cylinder combustion chamber during the power stroke. With the action result of the positive, the fastest of the rotation cranking from the manufacturer's design compressor. Then the delivery through all of the selected cylinder of the type of the system requires an air compressor, receivers, and air bottle to storage compressed air. Air starter motor. Pneumatically air starter motor with a high reliable air starter with the motor developing enough torque to spin the engine twin the cranking speed with a half time and the required electrical starter motor. Compressed air the pressure of 100 to 250 psi over the storage tank regulated at 110 psi pipes into the air motor and check valve. So this shows the cover, the cable, the servo, the cable, the ground with the battery, connected cable, the battery, and the battery box. Installed between the compressor and the servo, the tank with the prevent depletion of the compressed air, the servo, the planning system, followed with the air starter motors are suitable diesel engine driven generators ranging from 85 kilowatt up to the largest diesel engine generator. Alright, we're going to cut the tape there. We are on 3.8.